What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fitness Goal Friday. Today, we're going to talk about how to actually do what you know you should do. The goal of the Best You podcast is to allow you to feel confident about what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how to do it in order to get closer and closer to your best you. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fitness Goal Friday. Today, I'm going to talk about the topic that probably gets me more fired up than anything, and that's how to actually do what you know you should do, or how to actually do what you tell yourself to do. Because I really think ever since I heard the phrase from Stephen Covey called saying common sense is not common action, and also just like seeing it in myself over the last 4.5 years, I've really dove deep into the research and into behavioral psychology and what actually gets us to do the things that we know we should do. Because I think that most of us in all areas of life, whether it's our health, our personal life, our career, our financial life, our spiritual life, or our relationships, we kind of know what we could do to improve or to get better in that area of our life, but oftentimes we're not actually doing it. And I kind of view it and perceive it as there's this gap between saying we're going to do something and then actually doing it, right? Like I truly believe there's a gap of saying that we're going to do it and actually following through with it. And so my question to myself is, okay, how can we actually close that gap to following through and doing what we say that we're going to do? And there's two things that close that gap. Number one is motivation and willpower. And number two is a system of success. So motivation and willpower, right? We all know that certain times, maybe not very frequently, but certain times we're super motivated and we do feel like we have a lot of willpower. And so no matter what, we're going to avoid that brownie. No matter what, we're going to go do that workout. No matter what, we're going to make sure we drink enough water, even if at the end of the day, we have to chug 40 ounces of water, right? Because some days we are super motivated and we do have a lot of willpower. And sometimes that closes the gap entirely. Sometimes that closes the gap entirely between saying we're going to do it and then actually doing it. But oftentimes, motivation and willpower is not that high. You know that, right? Like there's often times when you're just not motivated at all. You have no willpower. Could be the end of the day, could be the end of the week, could be when you're super frustrated at the end of a meeting, whatever it is. There's times when motivation and willpower will not close that gap between saying to do something and actually doing it. And that's where the system of success comes in. And with the 10-week transformation program, that's when it comes to planning your pills. Pills are micro habits whose sole purpose is to increase the likelihood that you succeed with what we call your progress indicators. But so how do you create a system of success? How do you go about planning your pills in the best way possible? Well, there's 8 keys. So if you're somebody who's taking notes on this podcast, 8 keys to ensuring or maximizing the likelihood that you follow through, especially when motivation and willpower are low. First one is you got to plan ahead. You got to make sure that you schedule time ahead to plan your meals, to know when you're going to actually work out, to know when you're going to be drinking your water. So plan ahead. Second one is make sure whatever you're saying that you're going to do is workable. Either the thing itself is workable or the amount is workable. Workable meaning it's an amount or a thing that you're willing and able to do based on what you've been willing and able to do in the past. Don't tell yourself that you're going to read for an hour if you currently don't read. Like that's not very workable because what you've been willing and able to do in the past is 0 and 60 minutes is a big jump. And so past performance is often a good predictor of what your future performance is going to be. So don't go huge. Make it workable. Say you're going to read for 15 minutes before. Make sure if you are trying to implement a new workout habit, don't say that you're going to work out 7 times a week if you're currently working out 1. Say that you're going to work out 2 times a week for the next 3 weeks. Nail that down and then maybe bump it up. So it needs to be workable. Third thing, simplicity. You need to define whatever it is that you're going to do super simplistically, because at the beginning of the year, some people might say, I want to work out more, or I want to eat healthier, I want to read more. My first question is like, okay, what does that mean? What does work out more mean? How many times? Is it 3 times? For how long? Is it 45 minutes? What are you actually going to do? Are you going to go to a class? Are you going to do your own workout? Are you going to do yoga? What are you going to do? The more specific you can be, the higher the likelihood that you're going to execute, because complexity is the enemy of execution. If you don't know what done looks like, you can't do it, or you're going to be much less likely to do it. So plan ahead, workable, simplicity. You have to define what done looks like very specifically. That's the first three. Fourth is belief. You need to believe that whatever it is that you're going to do will get you to the result that you want. You're not going to work out if you don't believe. You're not going to go to a workout if you're not going to believe that it's going to help you lose weight. That's why so many people sometimes won't go to the gym, because they don't know what to do. And because if they go to the gym and they just kind of do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that, and then do a little bit here, lift a little bit here, then you're not going to have a high level of belief that that's going to get you to your goal. And if that's the case, then you're probably not going to go to the gym. You need to have a high level of belief that whatever it is that you say that you're going to do is going to get you to the result that you want. The fifth key is urgency. You need a constant reminder. Like nowadays, we get so distracted by everything coming our way, by all the texts, the DMs, the messages, all the commercials. Like there's so many things telling us to do this. And so if we don't have a level of urgency, if we don't have a constant reminder that's telling us, Nick, do this, Nick, do this, Nick, do this, via a Google Calendar or via a planner or a journal that you carry around or via a poster board that you have on the back of your door telling you what your goal is, you need a constant reminder to increase the likelihood that you do what you say you're going to do. Next one is accountability. You need to hold yourself accountable or have somebody else hold you accountable to doing what you said you were going to do. Because if somebody is going to hold you accountable, that's a sense of higher stakes. That's a sense of importance. Because if somebody comes to you and says, I'm going to hold you accountable immediately, you're like, oh crap, that's important. I got to make sure that I actually do it. So you have to either hold yourself accountable or you need to have somebody else hold you accountable. Because if there is some layer of accountability, self or other, you're going to be more likely to do what you said you were going to do. Number 7, you need to know your why. Because your why isn't what just gets you started. It's what keeps you going when what you started gets tough. Because in the beginning of a 10-week transformation program, you might be really motivated because you now have a goal and it's something you haven't done before. So it's new, it's fresh, it's lively, it gets you really motivated. But then weeks 4, 5, 6, 7 come and that motivation starts to wane. But if you can have your why written out in 2 to 3 sentences about why you're doing what you're doing, who you want to become, what you want to achieve, then you're going to be much more likely to follow through when you're tired and when you lack that motivation. So again, when motivation is waning, your why can help close that gap. And then lastly, having clarity is number 8. Clarity on where you're trying to go. Because if you can have clarity on your end goal and you know exactly what it is that you want to achieve, then following through gets a little bit easier because you know it's a step along that pathway. But if following through is a step to nowhere, you're going to be less likely to actually take that step. So those are the 8 keys to planning your pills appropriately. Those are the 8 keys to creating the system of success that will help close the gap that motivation and willpower does not close. Because again, there's this gap. There's this metaphorical gap between saying that you're going to do something and then actually doing it. And the 2 things that close the gap are a combination of motivation and willpower and then a system of success. And solely relying on motivation and willpower is not a sustainable strategy. We need that system of success to carry us through when motivation and willpower are low. I hope you guys enjoyed today. Make sure that you share this episode with a friend or family member. All you have to do is click those 3 little dots at the bottom and share it via text super quickly. And also, those of you guys here in Nashville, I'm having the Next Best You event on Saturday, February 12th at 10 a.m. It's coming up right around the corner. I would love to see you there. It's going to be an awesome workout. It's going to be a great post-workout meals. You're going to have a chance to meet a friend. You're going to leave there feeling energetic, confident, healthier, and it's going to be an awesome start to the weekend. So I would love to see you guys there. Go to nickcarrier.com/topgolf to reserve your spot today. Again, nickcarrier.com/topgolf. But y'all, share this episode with somebody because every single person that you know struggles with doing what they say they're going to do. So many people know what to do, they just don't actually do it. And so send them this episode to help them close that gap. I hope you guys enjoyed today. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you have not already. Make sure you rate and review the podcast if you haven't already. And I hope this episode allows you to get closer and closer to your health and fitness goals, but also helps you get closer and closer to your best you.